When I hit 72, I noticed something strange. I wasn't just slower, I was shrinking, not in height, but in strength. The stairs became a mountain, chairs felt deeper. I kept telling myself, it's just aging. But then I met Harold, 87, walking laps around the park with no cane. I asked him a secret. His answer changed everything, and it had nothing to do with lifting weights. The silent decline starts with sitting. Most people don't notice it at first. You start sitting a bit longer each morning. You take the elevator instead of the stairs. You avoid bending down because it's uncomfortable, not painful, just annoying. But over time, that just sitting becomes a slow surrender. The legs weaken, joints stiffen, and your balance starts to feel unsure, like walking across gravel instead of solid ground. Here's the truth no one tells you. It's not age alone. It's inactivity, disguised as rest. Your muscles don't vanish overnight. They fade little by little each time you skip moving. Especially after 70, the body adapts downward if you don't challenge it. I remember a man named Walter. He was 81, gentle, quiet, the kind of guy who never asked for help. When he first moved into the senior complex, he walked everywhere, slowly but with pride. But over the course of a year, I watched him change. At first, he gave up walking to the mailbox. Then he stopped standing while brushing his teeth. Then came the walker, and eventually the wheelchair. The scary part? Nothing was wrong with him. He didn't fall. He didn't get sick. He just stopped moving. And that's all it took. The body doesn't ask for permission before it weakens. It simply responds to what you do or don't do every single day. But there was also Ruth. She was 86, frail-looking, tiny voice, but tough as nails. Every morning, she stood at her kitchen counter and marched in place while the coffee brewed. She did heel lifts while brushing her teeth. "I don't exercise," she told me once. "I just refuse to sit still for too long." And you know what? She walked without a cane, carried her own groceries, never needed help down the stairs. It wasn't luck. It wasn't perfect genetics. It was habit. Tiny, consistent movement built into her day. That's the difference. One path leads to needing help with every step. The other, to reclaiming your independence, one small motion at a time. And that's what we'll talk about next. How to rebuild strength without working out. Let's be honest, most people over 70 don't want to join a gym, lift dumbbells, or follow some fancy YouTube workout. And truthfully, you don't need to. The key to rebuilding your legs isn't in intensity. It's in consistency and activation. That means doing small daily movements that keep your muscles awake, your blood flowing, and your body balanced. I call them micro movements. They're gentle, quiet, and they don't look impressive, but they work. Here are 3 you can start today. No equipment, no sweat, just you in a few minutes. 1. Seated leg lifts. Sit upright in a sturdy chair. Straighten one leg out in front of you. Hold for 5 seconds. Lower it slowly. Repeat 10 times per leg. This wakes up your thighs, your knees, and your core. It helps with standing, walking, and even balance. 2. Toe taps at the sink. While brushing your teeth or waiting on your tea, lightly tap your toes in front of you, alternating feet. This helps circulation, ankle strength, and coordination, and it adds up fast when done daily. 3. Sit to stand practice. Pick a chair without arms. Slowly stand up without using your hands. Then sit back down. Do it 5 times. This one move trains your entire lower body, and more importantly, it helps you stay independent, because the moment you can't get up from a chair is the moment life changes. These may seem small. They're meant to be, because strength doesn't return in a day. But each of these little movements is a vote for strength, stability, and staying in control of your own body. And over time, those votes add up. These may seem small. They're meant to be, because strength doesn't return in a day. But each of these little movements is a vote for strength, stability, and staying in control of your own body. And over time, those votes add up. Just ask Irene. She's 79. A year ago, she fell in her kitchen. Nothing major, just a bruise. But the fear it planted? That stayed. She stopped walking as much, stopped standing to cook, started using a walker, even when she didn't really need it. Her daughter worried, but Irene just said, "I'm being careful." Until one day, she couldn't get up from her recliner without help. That's when she started the micro movements, not from a place of motivation, from desperation. She did seated leg lifts during the evening news, toe taps while waiting for her toast, sit to stands every time she passed the living room chair. And slowly, her confidence came back. She ditched the walker. She stood longer in the kitchen. And one morning, she called her daughter and said, "I walked to the mailbox today on my own." That was her victory. No gym, no trainer, just her, a chair, and a quiet refusal to give up. That's what's possible, not someday, but starting now. It's not just about muscles. It's about who you are. When you move your body, you don't just strengthen your legs. You remind yourself who you are, that you're not helpless, that you're not done yet, that even if the world moves fast, you still move with intention. See, something changes when you stop relying on others for every little thing. When you can get up from a chair without wincing, when you walk across the room without reaching for the wall, when you carry a bag of groceries and feel capable again, it's not about pride, it's about peace. And if you've ever felt like aging has stripped you of your power, you're a spark. This is one way to get it back. Movement doesn't just restore strength, it restores dignity. I like to think of the body at this age like a paper lantern. Delicate, yes, but still able to shine, but only if a flame inside is kept alive. And every leg lift, every toe tap, every quiet decision to stand instead of sit, that's the match. Because every time you choose to move, even just a little, you're telling your body and the world, I still care, I'm still here. And that message, it ripples through everything. You start eating better, sleeping better. You start looking forward to small things again. Because movement wakes up the body, but also the spirit. One day, you'll wake up and realize your legs don't ache like they used to. That standing feels normal again. That stairs aren't something you avoid. They're just stairs. And you'll pause for a second, not because you're out of breath, but because you'll remember how far you've come. You'll remember the moment you decided not to give in, not to aging, not to weakness, not to the quiet lie that it was all downhill from here. Just one decision, one chair, one toe tap. That's where it starts. The rest, you'll build it one strong step at a time.